right, y'all, welcome back. Hey, before we dive back into things, I do want to share with you a little bit about Discord. During the break, you may have seen that Work Smarter kind of Discord page right there, advertisement. It is a page that, well, Jack Neely started it. A lot of it originated with some weekly meetings we were having for accountability, and I think that's what sets us apart. So I just want to share my screen real quick and pull up Discord so you guys can see that. You can see I'm streaming on Discord as well. So if you ever want to hang out with me on Discord, you're welcome to chat, voice chat and stuff while we stream and we can hang out. But here's the Discord. The cool thing about it, at least I think, what sets us apart is every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, we have a meeting in our little meeting room on here where we share really two things. What did you learn about? What did you accomplish this past week? And what are your learning goals for this week? Concrete learning goals. And then we have you write them down in our weekly goals channel, just so you can hold yourself accountable and so we can have a community that actually supports each other. So hey, if you are looking for a community of people to learn alongside of, that is friendly, that is accepting, that is welcoming, regardless of your experience level, come join us. There will be a link, an invite link, if you're watching this on YouTube, in the description. If you're on Twitch right now and you're not already part of Discord, just drop a comment on Twitch while you're watching and I will share the link over with you on Twitch as well. All right, all that being said, let me get my different pages pulled up. I think I need to adjust my audio too a little bit. Turn this down a little bit. Okay, cool. Got Twitch pulled up. Good deal. And let's go ahead and open up TryHackMe. The only thing I did during the break is I opened up the next room. We're gonna do the Pwnkit vulnerability. I'm gonna get my timer started. We're gonna dive into another 25 minutes of hacking. We knocked out the last vulnerability, dirty pipe, in that 25 minutes. I don't know if we'll finish Pwnkit in 25 minutes, but we'll see how far we get. And then we'll take another 5-minute break. So here we go. The timer has started, starting at 25 minutes. The other thing I did is I started the machine because it takes a little bit for the machine to start. So if you're following along, go ahead and start your machine. I should have time to boot as we read through some of the background. So CVE 2021, known as Pwnkit, is a terrifying local privilege escalation vulnerability located in the Polkit package installed by default on almost every major distribution of the Linux OS, as well as many other Nix operating systems. In other words, it affects virtually every mainstream Linux system on the planet. This room will provide an overview of the vulnerability, as well as recommendations to patch affected systems, so red team and blue team. A vulnerable machine has also been attached to allow you to try the vulnerability for yourself. Without further ado, let's begin. Let's do it. Background. Wall of text. Let's get through it. Overview. This was discovered by researchers at Qualys and announced in January of 2022. The technical security advisory for this vulnerability can be found here. The vulnerability has existed in every version of the policy toolkit or Polkit package since it was first released in 2009, which means there's a bunch still vulnerable because people don't patch their stuff, and allows any unprivileged attacker to easily obtain full admin access over any Linux machine with the Polkit package installed. Unfortunately, Polkit is installed by default on most distributions of Linux, making this vulnerability extremely widespread. The ease of exploitation and ubiquitous nature of Polkit make this an absolutely devastating vulnerability. However, fortunately, it is not exploitable remotely. That is a good thing, making Pwnkit purely a local privilege escalation vulnerability. So what is Polkit? Before we look at the vulnerability directly, it helps to understand what Polkit actually is. Polkit is part of the Linux authorization system. In effect, when you try to perform an action which requires a higher level of privileges, Polkit can be used to determine whether you have the requisite permissions. It is integrated with systemd and is much more configurable than the traditional sudo system. Indeed, it is sometimes referred to as the sudo of systemd, providing a granular system with which to assign permission to users. When interacting with Polkit, we can use the pkexec utility. It is this program that contains the Pwnkit vulnerability. As an example of using the utility, attempting to run the user add command through pkexec in a GUI session results in a pop-up asking for credentials. In a command line session, we get a text-based prompt instead. Blah, 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 authentication is needed. To summarize, the policy toolkit can be thought of as a fine-grained alternative to the simpler sudo system that you may already be familiar with. The vulnerability. As mentioned previously, the Pwnkit vulnerability exists in the pkexec utility, the primary front end to the Polkit system. We won't go into too much detail here in the interest of readability. However, you are encouraged to read through the Quality Security Advisory for a full technical explanation of vulnerability. The short version is this. Versions of pkexec released prior to the patch don't handle command line arguments safely, which leads to an out-of-bounds write vulnerability, allowing an attacker to manipulate the environment with which pkexec is run. This is all you really need to know, but for a slightly more technical explanation, read on. Let's do it. More specifically, pkexec attempts to parse any command line arguments that we pass it using a for loop, starting at an index of 1, to offset the name of the program, obtain the first real argument. If we entered pkexec bash, then as pkexec is the name of the program, it would be argument 0. The actual command line argument started at index 1. The name of the program is irrelevant to argument parsing, so the index is simply offset to ignore it. What happens then if we don't provide any arguments? The index is set permanently to 1, 0, 1. The following pseudocode may help you visualize this. For n equals 1, so that's a variable, equals 1. As long as n is less than the number of arguments, add 1 to n, do stuff. So then n's always going to be equal to 1. It's like an endless loop in some ways. If the number of arguments is 0, then n is never less than the number of arguments. As such, n stays equal to 1, and the loop is bypassed completely, so it jumps outside the loop. This becomes a problem later when pkexec attempts to write to the value of the argument at index n. As there are no command line arguments, there is no argument at index n. Instead, the program overwrites the next thing in memory, which just so happens to be the first value in the list of environmental variables when the program is called using a C function called execve. In other words, by passing pkexec a null list of arguments, we can force it to overwrite an environmental variable instead. For context, certain dangerous environmental variables are removed by the operating system when you attempt to run a program that has the suid bit set, which we just set, if you remember in our last exploit, as pkexec does by necessity. This is to prevent attackers from being able to hijack the program as it runs with admin permissions. Using the out-of-bounds write, we are able to reintroduce our choice of these dangerous environment variables by tricking pkexec into adding it for us. There are a variety of different ways to abuse this, all leading to code execution as the root user. Okay, is Pwnkit exploitable remotely? Nay. In which Polkit utility does the Pwnkit vulnerability exist? pkexec. Boom, we're doing good so far. Hey, another video. Well, we're making our own video. Exploiting Pwnkit is, lamentably, incredibly easy. There are many exploits available online, and writing your own version is not particularly difficult. The version that we will be using is written in C by Arthepsi and was released soon after the Quality Security Advisory was made public. The repository can be found here. Let's just go ahead and copy the link. This variation of the exploit makes use of the dangerous gcom-vath variable to include a malicious shared object file that calls the bin/s shell with the root permission. So kind of similar to what we just did with Dirty Pipe, that second exploit. First, we must connect to the target machine, blah, 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 blah. So let's go ahead and we know the drill by now. Whoops, wrong thing. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, and let's go ahead and save this to our etc host file. 10.10.86.152. And we'll call it pwnkit.thm. Can we ping it? That we can. Good deal. Let's make a new directory for Pwnkit. And we'll go to it. Actually, I capitalized that one, didn't I? Just for OCD sakes. All right. Nothing in there. Perfect. And let's go ahead and SSH as TryHackMe at pwnkit.thm. Yes. Same password as before. TryHackMe123. Oh, is it already on here too? It is. Okay. Once connected, we need to navigate to that. We did, and then we're going to compile it using that command. So very similar as before. It's the GCC. We're going to do dash, come on, autofill, tab. I just broke it. It's frozen. Oh, there we go. It just took some time. I'm impatient. Okay, and we'll call it exploit. It's making it. I just need to be patient. There we go. And now we can just exploit and we have root, I think. Look how easy that is. We already have root privileges. That's insane. Okay, read through it and try to understand how it works. We can do that. Let's just go ahead and go here. Okay. Let's see if we can understand this. Blah, blah, blah. So we have this character shell. Here's the set UID language here. Here's the environmental path that we're editing. And this is what's launching our shell as root. And we have this main function, integer, character. This is the argument. So this is kind of like the n. Remember that it's always going to 1 no matter what. Make directory. So here it's editing that environmental variable. Here it's adding the suid bit. Oh, this is echoing it looks like. How come it didn't echo for us? I'm not a programmer. I kind of understand that. It is crazy how dang easy it is to exploit though. Let's complete that. Let's go ahead and grab that root flag real quick. Congratulations, you exploited Pwnkit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's very difficult. Using the Qualys advisor in the repository linked in the task, try to write your own version of the Pwnkit exploit. Nope, nope, I'm not gonna do that. Some of you who are smarter than me, go ahead and give it a shot and let me know how that goes for you, but I'm not gonna try to write the exploit. I'm just gonna be a script kiddie tonight. All right, now that we've seen the devastating impact of it, how can we protect against it? So let's take our red team off and put our blue team hat on. Fortunately, developers tend to be fairly fast when it comes to developing patches for critical vulnerabilities. As a prime example, at the time of writing, Canonical have already released patch versions of the Polkit package and the APT package manager for all versions of Ubuntu which are not end of life. If you're running something end of life, quit, especially Internet Explorer. The patch version can be installed with the simple apt upgrade, and there's how to do it. And distributions which have not yet released patch versions of the package, the recommended hotfix is to simply remove the... I wonder if we can patch our vulnerable machine. Should we try it? Let's just give it a shot. Because we have that. Apt update. Oh, it's not going to work because we're on the TryHackMe like closed network. So we can't actually... We don't... From the box, we don't have an internet connection, so we can't patch it ourselves. But that's exactly how you would do it, and the patch wouldn't work anymore. In distributions with not yet released patch versions, the recommended hotfix to simply remove the suid bit from the pkexec binary. Okay. Well, let's give that a shot, shall we? Let's try to patch this machine, and then we'll try to exploit it again and make sure it's patched, because we have root access, so we should be able to do it. So if we do 0755, which pkexec. And now if we exit here, now if we run the exploit, it shouldn't work. There you go. So we just patched it. It no longer works on this box. Hopefully it doesn't have us redo it. Well, we could just reset. No, we can't reset the privileges because I'm no longer root. Let's see. It should be noted that there are many variations of the Pwnkit exploit using different environmental variables and exploiting the vulnerability in different ways. Some of these leave traces and logs behind, and others do not. Ooh. You can check to ensure that a system is patched by attempting to run a copy of the exploit against it. If the exploit returns the pkexec help menu, then the system is patched. Is that what we got when we try to do it? I was just telling it must be set UID root. Good. Good. Conclusion. Are we really gonna do another one in less than 25 minutes? Man, we're just knocking them out tonight. Congratulations, you have reached the end of the Pwnkit room. During the course of this room, you've been given a high-level overview of CVE, blah, blah, and some of the available remediations to patch it. You have also been able to use one version of the exploit to attack and compromise a vulnerable target for yourself. You should now have a working knowledge of this devastating vulnerability. Unfortunately, Pwnkit wasn't the first Polkit vulnerability in this time period. You may also wish to check out the TryHackMe room covering that, a timing attack that led to another local privilege escalation vulnerability. Boom. Congratulations. We have completed the room. Share it with my friends. You are my couple of friends watching. I'm sharing it with you guys. Thank you. Thank you for congratulating me. Here's what we're gonna do, y'all. Let's take another 5-minute break, and then we're gonna jump into a third vulnerability, and the third one I believe is gonna take a lot longer. We're gonna do the infamous print nightmare vulnerability, and there's a lot of setup to go with that, so we will stumble through it together. So during the 5-minute break, if you want, go ahead and look for the print nightmare room on TryHackMe, start the machine, and let's meet back here in 5 minutes, and we will keep diving into things. Let me go ahead and pull up my break, and I will see you guys in exactly 5 minutes. Peace.